have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
So, I want to start with your vocal journey.
Mhm.
Tell me, when did you start singing? You're from Florida, yes?
Yes, I'm from Pensacola, Florida.
Amazing. Tell me
Um,
how it all began.
I started singing. I started taking voice lessons when I was 4 years old. Crazy, insane.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I guess I was just, like singing, humming around the house, and my mom found this vocal teacher. I don't know, the newspaper, maybe the internet, something like that. Um, and she was like, "My daughter is 4, but I think I need to get her into voice
Mom
lessons."
knew. Mom
Mom
knew.
knew, and her name is Gloria Fuller, and I would go there every week and I would take a little lesson. I would probably just sing,
Yeah.
things that I wanted to sing. Um, and I did that with her for about a year. And she put me in this group called the Traveling Troop Entertainers. And it was a group of children, like I was the youngest. So it was like 4 to 16. And we were
Whoa.
these performers, and we
Yeah.
would go around to nursing homes and like fairs, like county fairs, nursing homes. Like we would just sing for people.
Yeah.
And we'd do like anything from like Let's Go Fly a Kite from Mary Poppins to like God Bless the USA, in the
Yeah.
retirement homes.
Yeah.
And I did that for a few years, and I just loved it. Like I just couldn't get enough of it, and I wanted to do more. So then I got into children's theater.
Mhm.
And I met my vocal teacher of 24 years with,
Wow, that's commitment. I love that.
yeah, yeah. So I've been with her for like all of my life
Yeah.
training vocally. So yeah, started at 4, moved into children's theater, and I just haven't been doing anything else since.
Yeah. Yeah. In your training, has it always been musical theater? Or did you ever dabble in like classical or anything like that?
Not so much classical. We did cover a lot of the musical theater,
Mhm.
basics, and then she let me explore into genres like country and pop.
Yeah.
Because like I liked singing those things. Like
Yeah.
Taylor Swift was huge,
Yeah.
like Demi Lovato, like all that. So I was like coming in, I want to sing this. Like, can I sing this?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd bring in like the Celine, and she'd be like, "Okay, let's
I
let's
love
take our
that.
time." But I was eager to literally learn whatever. But I will say, like legit in classical is something that I am not so versed in, that
Mhm.
I am now trying to immerse myself in,
Yeah.
especially living here now. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so
yeah.
what does your current training look like as a professional in the industry?
So currently I'm not taking any voice lessons. I feel like the past 2 years I was a vocalist on a dinner cruise called the
Yeah.
Showboat Branson Bell,
Love it.
where I was performing 8 to 11 shows a week.
Wow.
And I feel like just as a group, we were all kind of helping each other out in the vocal, you
Mhm.
know, compartment of all
Yeah.
that. And I was with some of the most like the best vocalists I've ever worked with. So I
Oh,
feel like that was kind of my daily like voice lesson.
yeah.
And I really had to learn how to like lock in and take care of myself, and
Yeah.
make sure I was okay vocally singing Journey and Pat Benatar every day is
Yeah.
nuts. So you really have to just like, yeah, if you need to like do something a little bit lighter for this
Mhm.
show, or do something not go as hard because you've got a week left of shows. Like it really taught me to kind of teach myself a little bit.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
you are the belting blondie and you're a crazy belter. It's fantastic. But I
Thank you.
wonder, do you feel like you have vocal cords of steel? Do you feel like, ooh, we now that we're getting older and we're not in college anymore, we have to kind of be mindful of what we're singing? What does that look like for you?
I feel like honestly the older I've gotten, the better control and the better like just like I know my voice so well now, because I've had to sing so many different things for
Yeah.
so many different jobs. And honestly, yeah, like I feel like now I'm 27. I feel like right now is the best vocally that I've ever been.
That's awesome.
Which makes me so excited for the future, because who knows what's gonna happen. But yeah, I feel like these chords are pretty solid
Good. That's awesome.
now.
You're a lucky ducky.
I
Very good.
guess so.
Yeah. So tell me about your time in Branson and doing 8 to 11 shows a week. That is so much. So what did you do to kind of take care of your voice? What were you doing in your like daily life to change how you were,
Mm.
I don't know, acting and protecting your voice?
Yes, honestly, water. Literally, I mean, everybody's like, drink your water, but water and only water.
Yeah.
Seriously, like no soda, no sweet tea, no anything. Like being the most hydrated
Yeah.
you can possibly be is literally going to save your life.
Yeah.
So we had like a huge water cooler. You know, we're on a boat all day. Like we are sailing a lake.
Yeah.
So we only get so many like jugs of water a week, and
Yeah.
our cast was like flying through them. Like, you know, those big ones that you like can.
Yeah.
So we all just have our water bottles. We're all just like chugging it, drinking nonstop. Also, right here, I have my vocal mist. Um, Shout out to
Sponsor
this.
her.
Sponsor me. Shout out to the vocal mist. Yeah,
Yeah.
this thing incredible. I do this after like I would get there, do my hair, do my makeup, and I would steam maybe like an hour before the show
Good.
every day. And honestly, like on my breaks, just like not screaming or, you know, just like keeping things cool, keeping things calm. Also vitamins. I mean, this is stuff I feel like a lot of singers already know, but
Yeah.
vitamin C, like taking magnesium and like just really like treating your voice like your job. I mean, that's literally what it was for me and is for me. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
just really watching out for her.
Yeah. And that's so nice that you were surrounded by people who were feeling the same way. I feel like
Yes.
sometimes it's hard going on contracts. Some people don't necessarily need to protect the voice in the same
Right.
way, and they're
Right.
out drinking or being loud or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
So it's kind of nice that you were surrounded by people who were also in that protective mode. That's
Yes,
great.
100% as like serious as I was about my voice. And I feel like that really connected us as well, like in our work environment and friendships too. So
Yeah, that's so nice. So
yeah.
nice. So you went to Pensacola State for school, right?
Yeah.
Did you go for
Yes.
musical theater?
Yes, I did. Funny story though,
Tell me the story.
I did not graduate.
Wow.
So I did about a year and a half there. It was my community college, like my
Okay.
local school.
Okay.
And I had a few friends that were going there too. And I was Inga and Young Frankenstein. That was my first college production, which
Love that.
my one of my favorite roles I've ever played. That show is so good.
Love it.
And then I did Irene and Hello Dolly, which is something very out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think those were the only two shows that I did. But that second semester of my second year, I was like, I don't I don't want to do this. I was like, I don't like school. And I grew up like that too, like actual school, high school.
Kendall? Yes.
Yeah.
I feel that on such a spiritual level. Yes.
I always knew that I was like, I don't need to know math. I don't need to know science. Like I
I
don't want
don't,
to know that. I want to
right.
sing. I want to perform. I want to use my instrument and just do it. So I talked to my mom and I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And I don't want to put you through this anymore financially because I know that in the long run it's just
Yeah.
not what I think I want. Obviously training and programs are fabulous and people come out of there so strong. But I just knew that it wasn't the path for me. And I started auditioning. I started going to these cattle calls, like these audition conferences is the name. So like Southeastern Theater Conference and the Unified Professional Theater Auditions.
Hmm.
And I was about 19 or 20 when I was doing that. And I booked my first professional job like right after I decided to leave school.
I love
So I
that.
was like, okay, so this we're gonna do this
Yeah.
now. This is happening.
Yeah. I love that. And I love it just seems like you are so connected with yourself. You know what serves you, what doesn't.
Mhm.
I preach all the time that you don't have to go to school for musical theater to be in musical
Yes,
theater. It's so expensive.
say it.
And you're not necessarily going to make all that money back in a reasonable amount of time.
Correct.
And for people like you and me, that's not the vibe. We're not
No.
all suited to be classroom learners. And I feel like that's kind of where the industry is going. Like it's being pushed
Yes.
because of money,
Because
but
of me.
you don't have to do it. I think that's so
No.
important to know. And you can still be wildly successful like you are. So,
As long as you're like training in on your own time, or like whatever training looks like to you, like just exercising your instrument and like just staying sharp.
yeah,
It doesn't need to be in a classroom.
I love that. I love
T.
it. That's the tea. That is the tea.
T.
So tell me, I wonder if you've ever had any sort of experience of like a vocal setback, something that has not gone your way vocally, any sort of like sickness that took you out of the game for longer than you expected.
Never a vocal injury. I feel like one time I was working a contract and they made us perform outside in very cold weather, cold conditions. They didn't really care. They were like, it's raining. Good luck. You got to dance and you got to
Fun.
sing for the crowds. People are paying. Again, money, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that. And then luckily it was the end of the contract, but I got laryngitis from the strain and the cold and the just horrible environment and conditions. And that took me out. Like my voice wasn't the same for a good like month and a half. But I feel like I did take a step back. I wasn't auditioning after that contract. I was just like, okay, we need to get this under control. Didn't like go get seen or anything, like
Okay.
get scoped, which is also important, but didn't do that at that time.
Yeah.
But I just worked through it, and I just try to stay healthy and didn't try to push myself. Like I wasn't going to karaoke with my friends. I wasn't singing just to sing.
Yeah.
But just really like listening and being like, okay, how are we feeling today? Like
Mhm.
what can we do to get over this? And then eventually it just went away. But those conditions are so dangerous, and
So,
you
so
don't realize it when you're
mhm.
out there, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that
Yeah.
happened and there was nothing I could do about it.
Right. But also being on contract and using your voice a lot for a sustained period
Mm-hmm.
of time, a lot of times in training or even just like in audition season, we're singing like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. We're
Yeah.
not singing for a sustained period of time. And doing that kind of abruptly is also so incredibly challenging for the voice.
Yes.
Very much like any other muscle. If you're like
Mm-hmm.
jogging here and there and then you decide, huh, I'm going to run a marathon
So
today,
yeah,
that's going to hurt.
right,
And then do
right.
it in conditions that are freezing
Mhm.
cold and not really conducive to singing. That's really hard.
Scary.
So good for you for setting that boundary and taking a step
Yeah.
back. I feel like especially as a young performer, that's really hard to do
Yeah.
because you feel like
You don't want to miss out.
yeah, they're never gonna hire me again, or I'll never work again,
Right,
or
right.
like I can't miss these shows. And you
Mhm.
can
You
because you'll
can.
just be out longer if you
It's
don't.
so okay.
Or yeah, it is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen an ENT ever?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I've
okay,
gotten
that's
I've
good.
gotten scoped a few times.
Love it.
Um, it's been great. It's so important. I feel like honestly, like every year, if you can, just
Yes,
to kind of check up and see how we're doing.
yes,
I always love to like watch the camera and
yes. It's for the
be
nerds.
like,
We love it.
yes, I'm like, tell me like what's going on in there, like because
Yes.
this is me.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
was just talking to somebody recently who is getting scoped after having some like vocal trauma. And
yeah,
she was like, what should I do? Walk me through it. And I said, it is awful for like 15
yes,
seconds
yes,
and then it's done.
and
And
then
like
it's
you're going to be draining fluid
not,
from
yeah,
all places in your face. It's
yeah,
not cute, but it's 15 seconds and it's
but
done.
it's worth it.
It is worth it. It's so
As
important.
Yeah, as
Good.
performers, absolutely 100% suggest it
Yeah,
at some point. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So now that you're in the Big Apple, I wonder how have you thought about how you're going to sustain your voice through now auditioning, and now you're in a new city. Are we gonna take class? What's the vibe for the voice for now?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to take voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially being here. Like there's just so many opportunities that I haven't been able to have, like I've missed. And
Mhm.
now I'm here and I'm like, okay, it's a bit overwhelming, but I do want to get in class, whether it be vocal, dance, acting, like anything. And we're kind of like rearing out of audition season.
Yeah.
But I mean, just yeah, taking care of myself and being on top of that, and definitely like spacing things out, because I do, I hear during audition season like people get so burnt out so quickly, and I'm trying to be very aware of that. I also just signed with an agent, so
Hey,
yeah,
yay, Kendall! Good for you. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So that was another thing that I was like, oh, okay, so I need to move to the city. Like I'm ready for that next step. Um, and just so happy to be here, and I will literally immerse myself in whatever I can
Yeah.
at this time.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Artist Series with Kendall Parrett. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we were not able to have the lesson portion of our time together of the Artist Series. But we hope to have Kendall back for a round 2, where you can hear that Beltress at work. So don't forget to like, subscribe, all the things, and join us back next week, next Thursday, for the Artist Series.